What's up, shark nerds? It's me, Paul Clerkin, a shark researcher, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite species, the Megamouth shark. What do we know? What do we not know? Let's dive in. In November of 1976, a research vessel working for the Navy was exploring off the coast of Oahu. They had their at-sea anchors deployed, and their at-sea anchors, it's not like an anchor that goes down and it holds them to the bottom. It's kind of like a big parachute that stops them from drifting so much. So if you can imagine a boat with a long rope and a big parachute, that's what they had at sea. So they're pulling in this large parachute anchor, and when it got to the surface, tangled up inside this anchor was a large 14.5-foot shark that they've never seen before. It had a huge mouth, a really blunt, large flabby body, and it was black and silver with spotting around the mouth. They had no idea what it was, but they knew it was important. So after a lot of trouble, they got it on board and they took it back to shore where they contacted local scientists. When the scientists got there, he immediately knew this was a new species. There's nothing like this, and he decided it had to be preserved whole, which was a whole ordeal. They had to transport it off the boat onto the dock. They did that by lifting it with a crane by its tail, and its tail actually broke off, and they had to send divers down after to retrieve the specimen. But they got it back to the museum and they eventually froze it, and over a couple of years they were able to describe it as not only a new species, but a whole new genus and a whole new family. So not only was this shark a new species, new genus, new family, but every parasite that they found in the shark was also a new species, new genus, and new family. And that just shows how strange the whole shark was. There's nothing like it, and there was nothing like living in it that was seen before. And this is really strange because it is a large shark. There's definitely a new species of deep sea invertebrates or clams somewhere on a seamount in the Indian Ocean, something small that doesn't move around a lot. But the fact that these sharks get up to 20 feet long and they are found in all of our major oceans blows your mind. Like, how did we not see this shark until 1976? Let's talk about what these sharks look like, because there's nothing else out there like them. They get big, 10 to 15 to 20 feet long, and they just have these huge heads with huge mouths. I could actually fit in a Megamouth's mouth, and I have. So why was I in a Megamouth's mouth? When I was in Taiwan, I was studying sharks, specifically Megamouths, and they had caught one. It was dead, and they had it on the dock, but they let me study it, and immediately I became fascinated with their mouths. The first thing I did was I just lifted it open, and it just kind of kept opening up. It just would go up and up and up, and it also had this kind of almost like convertible part of its mouth that could flip down. They had just these large, huge tongues. It was almost like the same consistency as like a clam, and I just put my arms under its tongue. It was like I was putting my arms into like a sofa cushion. This went down there, and they have these big, muscular tongues, which they must use to feed. All along their jaws, they have rows and rows of these little black teeth. They have 75 rows in the bottom jaw and 50 rows in the top jaw, and just like tons of rows of hook-like teeth, which are vestigial because they filter feed. They no longer use these teeth for anything. Other weird things about their mouths, as if their Megamouths weren't weird enough, is the whole inside is very much like a mirror. It's just entirely reflective, so it's a huge kind of cave. They have a cavernous mouth, and it just reflects light. People actually originally thought that it generated light because it was so shiny. Later researchers found out that it doesn't have illuminating tissue, it just reflects light, but we don't know why. We think maybe it helps them attract prey in the dark. Other researchers think that they use their mouths to identify each other in the deep sea, but we don't know if that's true or not. All we know is they have really highly reflective mouths. Traditionally, megamouths are considered to be deep sea species, but we're not really sure if this is true. They seem to come up to the surface at night, and even during the day when they're deeper, they don't seem to go that deep. And some of my own tags have shown the sharks are actually close to the surface sometimes during the day. Megamouths eat almost exclusively krill, which are these little red shrimp. They're planktonic, which means they just kind of float around in the open ocean. And that is kind of mysterious for us because it's strange that megamouths, such a large shark, can maintain their body mass over eating these little animals. Now there's other filter-feeding sharks, like the basking shark and the whale shark, but basking sharks are large and muscular, and they swim non-stop with their mouths open, just gulping up plankton. Megamouths are not muscular. They can't swim like that all the time. Whale sharks, they do a similar thing. They're large and muscular, and they swim to the surface, and they take these big gulps of actually larger animals. They'll eat small fish. But megamouths are eating krill in the deep sea, and we don't know how they can actually maintain enough energy to keep their large bodies in an environment where there's just not that much food. How old do they get? We don't know. We have no idea. The way that we normally age sharks is we look at their hard structures, like their vertebrae, and we count the rings. Like, their vertebrae will have rings like a tree. But megamouths, because they are such flabby-bodied, they don't lay down calcium in their vertebrae, so we don't know how old they get, and this makes it difficult to manage the species. We don't know if a 20-foot megamouth is 10 years old or 500 years old. We know nothing about their migrations. We see them all around the world, but at certain times of year, they seem to concentrate into larger groups, and we have no idea why. Is this a feeding thing? Is it a mating thing? We don't know. Where are their pupping grounds? Where are their nurseries? We just have no idea. We don't know a lot about the reproduction. We don't know how old they are when they reproduce. We don't know how many pups they have. We don't know how long their gestation period, and we don't know how many pups a female has over her entire life. And that is all information that we need if we want to protect this species. And that's why I love studying megamouths. Not only are they weird, but they are so mysterious. As you can see, there's a lot of room to make discoveries and research this species that needs our protection. Alright, shark nerds, that was our first episode on megamouths. So please like and subscribe if you want to learn more about sharks and megamouths, and comment below whether you would put your arms in a megamouth's mouth. That's it. I hope to see you next week. Tune in and we'll make Shark Week every week.